Hello, Year 3 and 4 at Rhodes Avenue School. My name is Alistair Humphreys. I am the author of The Boy Who Biked the World book that you have been reading at school. And the story that you've read about Tom cycling around the world is an actual adventure that I went on myself. So thank you for reading the book. I hope it's given you some ideas of adventures you might want to do one day, either massive ones or maybe just some small local micro adventures that perhaps you could do at the weekend with your friends or family. Now, you've asked some brilliant questions, which I have to say are decorated very, very beautifully. I'm very impressed, so thank you very much. You've asked a lot of questions, which is excellent news, but it also means I'm going to get on with it, because when I finish doing this video, I'm going to go have my lunch. So, let me get on with it. Right, from 4AB. Annabelle, magnificent drawing of a banana. What was your favourite and least favourite food you tried on your travels? Well, as you know from the book, Tom eats a lot of banana sandwiches. I ate a lot of banana sandwiches myself, but not nearly as many as Tom did in the book. Favourite food? Whew. Well, when you're cycling, you get really hungry because it's brilliant exercise. And I went to some countries with great food. Chinese food, I'm sure you've enjoyed. Japan, I love the food there. Although that might also answer the question of least favourite food, because in Japan there's some seriously disgusting food as well as the delicious stuff. It's a bit of a risk which one you get. I really like the food in the Middle East, Syria and Lebanon, really nice. Barbecues in South Africa. Ooh, this is a bad question to answer before my lunch, Annabelle, you're killing me here. And a little country called Georgia, which you might not know much about, had really nice food. Look up khachapuri. You'll have to figure out how to spell that. Khachapuri from Georgia. Very, very delicious. It's basically like cheese on toast or pizza for breakfast. Perfect. Question from Dev. What was your favourite country? I give a different answer to this every time because I love so many different countries. But I really loved Sudan for the kind, friendly people I met there. I'm going to go with that. Sudan. Eloise. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. It's a beautiful name and fantastic drawing. If you could replan your journey, what would you change? That's a brilliant question. And I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. What I would do is slow down. Because my ride was 4 years long, I tended to be in a bit of a hurry. I was always rushing a little bit to get on, because I had so far to go. But my happiest memories are always of the times that I slowed down and appreciated it. So I think that's what I'd change. I'd just slow down a little bit. Scarlett wants to know about meeting people on my travels. If I was to meet someone again, who would it be and why? A few years ago, I was in a pub in London and I bumped into someone who I met in the middle of Africa, and we both looked at each other, and it was really, really lovely to see them again, to bump into them and share those stories. That was an amazing coincidence. Who I'd really like to meet is, I met so many people on my trip who were really, really poor. People who didn't have a postal address or a phone number or an email address, and they were often really kind to me, maybe just helping me a little bit or giving me some water or perhaps letting me put up my tent for the night or even stay at their house. So kind in so many countries. But after I cycled off down the road the next morning, I knew that I'd never ever see them again, and I'd really like to meet some of those people and just say thank you for being kind and helping me when I was riding through their country and really needed their help. Some awesome drawing here from Rafi and a great picture of a bicycle. Very impressed. Great question, Rafi. My question for Alistair: what was the hardest animal you faced on your crazy trip? What a brilliant question. Oof, maybe when I was cycling through Alaska and the Yukon with a good friend of mine. We saw some grizzly bears, some brown bears. That was pretty awesome. I think that might have been the wildest and in some ways the most exciting bit of my trip for wildlife. Gabby wants to know, why did you want to cycle around the world? Another great picture of a bike. Bikes are hard to draw, aren't they? Why do I want to cycle around the world? I wanted to go and see more exciting places than just the same old town that I'd grown up in. I wanted to see what life was like in different parts of the world. I wanted to do something exciting and fun. I wanted to try and do something difficult, really difficult, just to see if I could do it, to see what happened when I tried to do something difficult. And also I wanted to be a writer, and so I needed to have something to write about. I needed some stories to write about. Oh, excellent colouring here. So good colouring, I'm struggling to read your name. It's either Valencia or Valentina. Either way, you are very good at colouring. Out of all the things you could have picked, why did you choose to ride your bike around the world? You're right, it is really hard to choose adventures. There are so many places to go, so many different ways of having adventures, walking, canoeing, sailing, biking. So I chose to do it because a bike is faster than walking, so you can go quite a long way, but it's cheaper and easier than going in a car. Sorry, it's cheaper and harder than going in a car or a motorbike, so it meant I was more able to afford it, and also it was more of a challenge. And a bike's great because you can carry your camping gear, it's not as hard as a rucksack, and I just think a bicycle is the best tool for having adventures. What was the most tiring part of going around the world, asks Rafi. Tiring part, cycling through the Andes Mountains, riding up to 5,000 metres down to sea level, up to 5,000 metres down to sea level, for several months. Big mountains, and there's not much oxygen when you get up that high, so that's quite a struggle. An excellent drawing of a globe, and another fantastic drawing of a bicycle. Right, some questions from 4CB. Which African country was your favourite, says Alex. Sudan, I think. I chose that. Harlan wants to know what was the toughest part of my journey. Setting off, saying goodbye to all of my friends and family, and beginning something which I wasn't going to finish for years. And then also just the loneliness of not seeing my friends and family for so long. That was hard. Kami, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'll go with Cami. Wants to know what was your favourite part of the journey around Africa. Favourite part of Africa was definitely the people I met. The good, kind, friendly people in all sorts of random parts of Africa. Mia wants to know how many different languages I learnt. The only language I got... Well, every country I went to, I try and learn enough to be polite. Please, thank you, hello, goodbye, left, right, bread, banana, bicycle. But I couldn't learn that much of a language. One, because my brain is quite small, and also because I was moving through lots of countries. So I didn't get very good at languages, except when I got to South America, because then I had a whole year to learn Spanish. And my Spanish got pretty good after speaking it for a year. And that was brilliant to be able to speak another language and be in a culture where you could speak their language. I loved that. What's your favourite? Joan, I've done your question about favourite food. Kubra, what surprised you the most? What surprised me the most was that I thought the world was going to be a dangerous, scary place. Because if you watch the news, there's a lot of bad things happening. But what surprised me was how good and kind people were in the world, and how welcome and safe it felt on my trip. Right, some questions from 4MS. You guys are challenging me by putting them on their side. Right. Hania Khan says, was there a moral you were trying to get out of your story? What an amazing question. The moral of my story, I don't know if you noticed it, but I think what I was really trying to show was that anyone can do adventures. Any young person is capable of doing more than they realise. You might not know it now because you're quite young, but you can do amazing things if you dare yourself to try to do something different and difficult. And then I also wanted to share what I just said about the world being a good, kind, friendly place. Felicien has done a magnificent drawing of the banana sandwiches. You lot are killing me. I told you this is just before my lunch. Did you really eat banana sandwiches, or did you just say that to be funny? I did eat banana sandwiches, but not as many as Tom. So yes, I was trying to be funny. I'm not very funny, but yeah, I was adding that for effect, I think. A fantastic picture here of a bicycle and a rainbow. I'm not sure who the question is, sorry. How do you feel when you're riding away from your family and friends? I felt very sad, and I really regretted it, and I thought, what am I doing? I've got a lovely life here in England, why don't I just stay? But I made good friends in other parts of the world, and when I came home I saw all my friends again, so it was hard, but I don't regret it. Giovanni, what other hobbies do you enjoy? Tennis, football, golf or cricket? I love watching sport. I'm recording this video during the Euros, so I'm really enjoying watching the Euros, watching teams from lots of countries I've been through. Got my football shirt on here for Leeds United, the team I support. I love watching test match cricket. It's my favourite things. Hobbies myself, I like running and cycling and wild swimming in rivers and reading books. They're probably my hobbies. Oh, and baking bread. I've got into baking bread recently, like everyone else in lockdown. This is a magnificent drawing of the River Nile by Ella. What was the most worrying and dangerous time? I think the most... It wasn't really very dangerous. I think I was worried. I was often worried about trying to get permission to get from one country to another, trying to get visas to allow you into a country. Because if you don't have the visa, then you can't get to the country, and that would completely mess up my plans. So that was quite a thing I was worrying about quite a lot, trying to sort out boring things like visas. And that's the end of the questions, which brings me perfectly on to saying thank you very much for reading my book. I really appreciate you doing it, and thank you for putting in so much effort into producing those questions for me. Let me just check I haven't missed any. No, I think I've done all the classes' questions. Thank you very much. Good luck with your own adventures. And now, I'm off for lunch. Banana sandwich time, baby. Bye-bye.